7th.
Say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are now live, Trina. You were about ready to tell me something when we went live, and I couldn't stop it. So what were you going to tell me? This will be an extra treat for those who are watching us.
I'm wondering, Scott, if you have that prayer, St. Francis, available.
Yes, I do. I'll have it available for you.
Okay, we'll do that at the end. Thank you.
Okay, great. And with that, this is a day of peace and reflection, isn't it, Trina? And you have some things to say about that, don't you?
Well, today is called worldwide, I think, by spiritual leaders around the world as a special day of prayer and penance and fasting. Because this is a memorial now of October 7th last year, when the Abrahamic religions exploded with each other. Not for the first time, and not in terms of this present Israeli-Palestinian situation. Not the only time. It's been happening a long time. And so this is a special day of prayer. Dear God, help us. Dear angels of God, help us. And to start us out in a little bit of hopefulness, I found this, which I haven't showed before. This is one of our production items that we made of a guardian angel. A nice big angel with a little person helping him. I'm not sure how it shows, not, but it was a plaque that we made as part of our art production program. That angels are watching over us and helping bless all those people who are in war these days and never know what they're going to live from hour to hour. That's true of all of us, of course, but more true of people in war situations, which seems to be gathering greatly around the world. So this is a day of prayer for peace. And I decided to stay with my Abraham and Isaac theme because this is a day when we're thinking very particularly about the Abrahamic religions, which, like most religions, talk about loving one another as their central call, as the central call of all of it. Love one another. The first and the greatest commandment, to love God and love your neighbor as yourself. And yet, we tend to have a knife in the other hand. And that's what this statue is all about. And a happy little note, a strange happy note, is that at least my big Abraham and Isaac, which I'm going to look at, is wandering around the world now, a wandering Aramaic or a wandering Jew around the world again. And I just heard today that it's not only going to be in Chatham, New York, where it is right now, at a synagogue and a Provincetown, but it's going to go to the cathedral in Albany for a while. So I'm thrilled it's being shown since it's been in storage. Most of it's 60 years. So with that, Scott, perhaps you can show the video of different sections of it, and then we'll go back to these different ones and we can talk about them. This is, okay. This is Gary, the priest who has the statue now and carrying it around with him in a van. And this is in his church, in the lobby of his church. So we're going to be seeing some shots from the back so you can see the knife. I thought that was important. There's the knife in the hand. And I think you can see the statue is huge. It's very big. It's over life-size features and everything. And there it is again. And it's scale. So this is really serious. Our relationship with one another and our acceptance and our love of each other and our love of Republicans for Democrats and Democrats and Republicans and everybody in between. And I think, Scott, our theme that we use for this is radical sharing, freely chosen. And it so fits this Memorial Day that we move toward that radical sharing, freely chosen. I don't see any other answer for the world than radical sharing. But freely chosen, not forced upon us, because then it isn't real sharing. It's forcible collectivism. And so, how to work our way through the next few months as Americans, how to work our way through the next few days with those in the path of destruction every moment, how to live it all, and hoping that our angels will take care of us and will guide us to God in the end, whatever that end comes for us. So that's my hope. And by the way, the gospel today for the Catholic Mass is the gospel of the Good Samaritan. The Good Samaritan. And perhaps you know that story. This man was wounded by robbers and left to die on the edge, bleeding. And a priest and a Levite passed by and did not stop. And a Samaritan, whom the Jews do not relate to at all at that time of history, stopped and got off his horse and bathed his wounds and took him to an inn and said to the innkeeper, "Keep him and help him. And when I come back, I will repay you." And the question Jesus asked the person who had asked the question is, "Who is my neighbor?" That was an answer to the question, "Who is my neighbor?" And Jesus asked, "Who is the neighbor?" And he says, "I think it was the one who helped him." And that is our neighbor. So may it be so. May it be so. And the hope for the flowers is that it will be so. And the key question in Hope for the Flowers is when Yellow, desolate that her lover's stripe has gone back on the pillar, and she misses him so, and she finally wanders away, and she sees this little caterpillar, but hanging from a branch, and a sticky branch, and she says, she lifts her own head from her own search and her desolation and says, "You seem in trouble. Can I help?" So it's that kind of question we need to be willing to ask each other and not make assumptions about each other's motives or anything else. So, Scott, if we have that final thing, I think it maybe is enough for today that we end with that again, and that we all pray for peace. The prayer of St. Francis. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is despair, hope. Let me not so much seek to be consoled as to console, but to be forgiven as to forgive. For it is to live as to die to ourselves and to be born to eternal life. That's all scrunched up together, but it's what I recall quickly like this. So I wish each of you watching peace in your heart and the ability to find ways to bring peace about and to realize that God is there taking care of us in some way or another. Hard to believe sometimes, but that in the long run, we're not alone. And we can call on the angels. Each of us is supposed to have a guardian angel that we can call on. And whatever faith we practice, may we do it with sincerity and love. And I wish you all the blessings of peace and harmony in your lives.